3 years ago, your neighbor retired to a country you'd barely heard of. Today, he wakes up to an ocean view, rents a comfortable apartment for about $600 a month, and enjoys a lifestyle he says he never thought he could afford. Every time you ask if he misses home, he smiles and says, "I only wish I'd done it sooner." The surprising part? His country isn't even number one on today's list. So today, we're counting down the 5 countries that come closest to retirement perfection, places that combine affordability, quality healthcare, stunning scenery, and a lifestyle that many retirees only dream about. Before we begin, take a second to like the video and subscribe for more retirement guides like this. Now, let's get started. Number 5. Montenegro. Montenegro is a tiny country on the Adriatic coast in southeastern Europe. Smaller than Connecticut, wedged between Croatia, Bosnia, Serbia, and Albania, it only became its own independent country in 2006, which makes it technically younger than the iPhone. And yet, somehow it has medieval walled cities, cliffs that drop straight into the bluest water you've ever seen, and a cost of living so low, it will make you question every financial decision you've made in the last 30 years. The first thing many people do when they arrive in Kotor, the country's iconic walled city, is pull their car over and simply stare. Not because of traffic, but because the view of the bay is so breathtaking that they can't bring themselves to keep driving. It's one of those places that looks like a computer screensaver, until you realize it's a real town where people go to work, buy groceries, and complain about parking. A 1-bedroom apartment near the water runs $400 to $900 a month, not per week, per month. A double espresso costs about $1. Private healthcare coverage runs $50 to $150 a month. Modern clinics, English-speaking doctors, and fast appointments included. And residency doesn't require 17 forms in triplicate. Buy a qualifying property, apply for a renewable permit, and you're largely done. Now the honest part. Montenegro is still developing. Infrastructure outside the main towns can feel about 15 years behind schedule. It's not in the EU yet, so some conveniences simply aren't there. But if you can trade a little polish for mountains falling into the sea, medieval streets, and rent cheaper than your current car payment, Montenegro will make you wonder why it took you this long to find it. Number 4. Malaysia. Malaysia doesn't make the headlines the way Thailand does. It doesn't have the Instagram fame of Bali. It just quietly sits there in Southeast Asia, sandwiched between Thailand to the north and Singapore to the south, offering some of the best food on the planet, modern hospitals, fast internet, and apartments with pools for $500 a month, while everyone else argues about which more famous country is better. It's a country of 33 million people spread across the Malay Peninsula and the island of Borneo, with 3 major cultures, Malay, Chinese, and Indian, all sharing the same streets and the same night markets. That cultural overlap produced one thing above everything else: food so good that retirees have moved here for no other reason and zero regrets. Kuala Lumpur gives you the big city version: gleaming condos, a spotless train system, and malls so large you could live inside one and nobody would notice for weeks. But most retirees end up in Penang, a UNESCO-listed island city where the old town looks like history and the hawker stalls look like heaven. A 1 or 2-bedroom condo with a pool and gym typically runs $400 to $800 a month. That's the whole bill, pool included. Private hospitals here are internationally accredited, English-speaking, and good enough that people fly in from neighboring countries specifically to use them. Health insurance runs $100 to $250 a month. The retiree visa program, known as MM2H, is refreshingly straightforward. Instead of navigating a maze of confusing requirements, applicants simply need to demonstrate sufficient income or savings. The one thing nobody warns you about: the humidity is not a joke. It is a physical presence that will introduce itself to you immediately and never fully leave. If you need crisp autumn air to feel human, Malaysia will humble you fast. Everyone else will be absolutely fine. Number 3. Spain. Spain is the country people have been telling you to retire to for 20 years, and the reason nobody listened is that it seemed too obvious. Sometimes the simplest answer really is the right one, and everyone else was just overcomplicating it. Spain sits in the southwestern corner of Europe, sharing the Iberian Peninsula with Portugal, with beaches on the Mediterranean and the Atlantic, and enough interior to fit several different lifestyles inside the same country. It has 47 million people, a cafe on every corner, and a national schedule that treats lunch as a 2-hour event and dinner as something that starts when most Americans are brushing their teeth. The regions feel nothing like each other. Malaga gives you mild winters and beach life year-round. Valencia gives you a modern city with a converted riverbed turned into miles of parks. Alicante gives you a real beach, a walkable old town, and direct flights home that make visiting the grandkids a Tuesday afternoon problem rather than a logistical crisis. Inland towns like Ronda and Granada give you cobblestone streets, ancient architecture, and bakery owners who know your name by Thursday. A one-bedroom apartment outside the tourist zones runs $600 to $1,100 a month. A week of groceries, real produce, fresh fish, and a bottle of wine that would cost $40 back home often runs less than one dinner out in an American city. Private health insurance costs $100 to $200 a month for coverage that would make your American doctor visibly upset. Spanish bureaucracy operates on its own timeline, and that timeline is not yours. Without some Spanish or a good local lawyer, paperwork will age you. But once you're through it, Spain hands you a daily life so good, you'll stop explaining it to people back home and just start sending photos. Number 2. Portugal. Portugal doesn't announce itself the way other European countries. It sits quietly on the far western edge of the continent, the last piece of land before the Atlantic takes over, sharing the Iberian Peninsula with Spain, but operating at an entirely different pace. It is a country with a serious history, a deeply hospitable culture, and a cost of living that makes most Western retirees feel as though they have been doing something wrong for a very long time. Lisbon is the obvious starting point. Pastel hillsides, centuries-old trams navigating streets that were never designed for modern traffic, and a riverfront that has been drawing people in for centuries for very good reason. Porto, in the north, offers the same architectural character with considerably fewer crowds and a food scene that regularly outperforms the capital. The Algarve coast, in the south, delivers warm weather, dramatic cliff coastlines, and small towns where the pace of life slows down to something that feels almost medically beneficial. A one-bedroom apartment in Porto or the Algarve typically rents for $600 to $1,000 a month. Private health insurance runs $50 to $150 a month, covering modern hospitals that are well-staffed and increasingly accustomed to English-speaking patients. Portugal consistently ranks among the safest countries in the world, a detail that tends to matter more to retirees than any other single factor once they actually start planning a move. The passive income visa is built around pensions and social security, and enough retirees have gone through the process that it is now a well-documented path rather than a leap of faith. The one honest caveat: Lisbon and the most famous parts of the Algarve have gotten noticeably more popular and more expensive in recent years. The retirees who get the most out of Portugal are almost always the ones who looked slightly beyond the obvious choices and found that the less famous towns were quietly the better ones all along. Number 1. Panama. Panama is the country that somehow figured out retirement before anyone else did and then just sat there waiting for everyone to catch up. It's a thin strip of land at the bottom of Central America connecting North and South America, splitting the Pacific from the Caribbean, with a population of just over 4 million people, and a canal that changed the entire history of global trade. The US dollar is the official currency. English is widely spoken in business and expat communities. It also offers one of the world's most successful retiree visa programs, a model that many other countries have tried to replicate for years, but few have matched. Panama City looks like Miami decided to move to the tropics: a modern skyline, world-class hospitals, an international airport, and neighborhoods like El Cangrejo, where one-bedroom apartments run $700 to $2,000 a month. But an hour outside the city, everything changes completely. Boquete sits in the mountains with temperatures in the 70s year-round, coffee farms on every hillside, and rentals from $600 to $1,200 a month. Bocas del Toro on the Caribbean side gives you white sand, turquoise water, and the specific kind of life where your biggest daily decision is which direction to snorkel. On a clear day, you can climb the country's highest volcano and see both oceans at the same time, which is the kind of thing that sounds made up until you're standing there. The Pensionado visa requires a qualifying pension of just $1,000 a month and hands you discounts of 25 to 50% on restaurants, hotels, flights, and everyday expenses written directly into law. Private health insurance runs $75 to $300 a month. No exchange rate stress. No language barrier in the places most retirees settle. Panama City's heat is aggressive, and the traffic matches it. But for everything else this country offers, the variety, the financial rewards, and the modern infrastructure, most retirees decide the heat is a price worth paying without thinking about it very long. So these are the 5 countries that come closest to retirement perfection: Montenegro, Malaysia, Spain, Portugal, and our number 1 pick, Panama. Which one would you choose? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next retirement guide. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.